everybody, and welcome to another great episode about the Jump Podcast. If this is your first time, where have you been this long time? We have great guests coming on to help you jump. And I'm not talking about jump up and down. I'm talking about jumping into greatness. I know there's greatness in you. We want to make sure we can get it out of you. Now, my next guest, I don't know. I think he has the special key. He knows what he's doing. I'm kind of envious on what he's doing. You know something? I'm going to let Paul tell you all about it. Listen up. Joe Rare is an underground serial entrepreneur, investor, outsourcing expert, father, and husband. He currently owns 4 digital companies, 5 wedding venues, and real estate investment properties. Joe's journey began with a door-to-door product sales business, which grew from a team of 2 to 40 employees in under 2 years. He later sold the company after 27 months. His passion for sales never diminished, but he discovered what his life's work would be: building businesses. Yes. I can't wait to bring him on. Let's bring on my special guest. Joe, where you at?
What's up, man? I'm here. Right on.
All right. So I'm gonna be straight honest with you. I'm jealous on how you started your business, and you're sitting back, relaxing, and enjoying life. But before we get into that, give us some background. Who's Joe? Born and raised, where are you from?
So actually, I was raised in a small little farm town in Northern California. Since then, I've kind of lived all over. I've traveled a lot. I was a nomad for quite a while. I just kind of picked up and moved wherever I wanted, kind of when I wanted. And then that led me to actually meet my wife, and we have kids. And so now we're up in Montana, and living up here in the mountains.
So what did the little Joe in you wanted to become? I could see it, like a superhero. What did you want to become?
Oh, at first I was going to be a first baseman for the Oakland A's.
Okay.
And then that led into other sports, and I wanted to play basketball, and so I walked on my freshman year at UC Santa Barbara and tried to play there, but turns out I'm not 6'5". I'm only 5'11", so that didn't work. And so, but then I immediately got interested, in business and in building companies. And so I ended up dropping out of college and started my first business when I was 20 years old, and I sold it 2 years later at 22, and then jumped into real estate.
So what was your first business?
A door-to-door sales business. So we called it a marketing company, but we literally just sold widgets, promotional products, did test marketing sales, stuff like that, literally business to business, just walking in to each business and selling what was in our hands. And so it started out with me working in an office, kind of doing the same thing. And then I got, to move into my own office, and I had my own team. And so we had started out with just 2 of us, and then it grew to 40. And then, somebody walked in the door one day and said, "Hey, I'm interested in buying your product base." And so I sold the company there at, I think I was 22 years old.
Where did the entrepreneur bug come from? Did you see somebody that was an entrepreneur? Did you know somebody and you're like, "Hey, I like that he's his own boss"?
Yeah. So it's funny. I actually didn't figure this out until years later, where I think it came from. I watched my real dad struggled as an entrepreneur my whole life. He was never successful. Always kind of jumped to one thing to another. So he never had success with that. But there was somebody in the small town that I grew up in. There was only 3,000 people in the entire town. My stepdad was the sergeant on the police force, so we got in trouble before we actually did anything. But there was a parent in town that I'll never forget this. He took me and his son to an Oakland A's baseball game when, God, I want to say we were like 10 years old. But he did it on like the middle of the week. In the middle of the day. It was an afternoon game. And my whole thought was, how does this guy have the ability to leave work and like go do this? And he didn't do it just once. Like, he did this a lot. And then as I got older, I realized like he owned some of the biggest companies around that, in the area. And so it kind of was like, wait, hold on, that freedom, that's the thing that I want. How do I get that? And then when I think I was 17 or 18, I read Rich Dad Poor Dad. And as soon as I grasped the concept of that, like, it was on. And I knew that I would never end up working at a company. I would end up building businesses. And so that was kind of where I really got focused on entrepreneurship.
Well, you started young. So you're saying you're coming out of college. You're like, not doing this anymore. I started young. weren't you scared? Like you're like you're
Oh,
leaving college and you're going like, I'm gonna dive into this.
well, what's the difference? I mean, it's just learning, right? The difference is that I can either learn and make money, or I can learn and go into debt. And so
Mm.
realizing, I mean, I didn't want to go to college. I only went because I thought I was gonna be able to play basketball. I walked onto the team, made the team, but didn't get to play. And so after that, it was kind of like, well, all right, this isn't really, nothing's happening here. I can go ride the pine for another couple years and watch these guys play and stuff. And it was fun. Like, don't get me wrong, but I just knew that I wasn't in school to go get a degree so that I could go do something that a degree would help. I was in school to play basketball, have fun. And so it was like, okay, well, you can always go back to school if you need the degree. That's always an
Gotcha.
option. You can
Gotcha.
do that,
Gotcha.
it doesn't matter.
Yeah, just it's something you gotta go for and gotta take a chance. The first client. Do you remember your first client?
Well, so it depends kind of if we're going like the door-to-door sales business. The I guess the client that we would call is the product that we got. And
Oh, okay.
so because that's who we would actually sell for. So we would take the products on consignment, which is like the business model back then was crazy. Somebody would consign us like $50,000 worth of product. Then
Okay.
I would send people into the streets to go sell this stuff. And then we would square up, and then I would pay for the product afterwards, which was, most people are like, that's insane. Nobody would do that today.
No,
Right.
no, not happening.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it was a series of products that I mean, to be honest, I can't remember the first product I sold. But we sold a ton. I mean, we moved inventory like crazy. It was kind of interesting. So I had to actually have an office that was flexplex. So it was half office, half warehouse. So we stored literally like pallets and pallets of product and
So you're
loaded
basically
up people's
telling me
cars. And I
you
mean,
were the first Amazon then.
it was Amazon, but on foot. There was no online ordering. The internet was, barely existing. And then we took that, and then I was like, well, there's this eBay thing. We should start trying to play with eBay. And so I
Yeah.
started selling stuff on eBay too, but the shipping was such a pain that we ended up cutting it.
That's a great story. So hold on. So we went from there,
Yep.
squashed that, you sold it, made
Yep.
some coin. Where did you take that coin? What's the next level in your life?
Real estate. So I started buying some real estate. This is like an 04, 05 ish. So I started buying some investment properties. I started, we kind of what we were doing was, the real estate market was really, really hot back then. There was an opportunity to buy into brand new developments where they were actually building brand new communities. And the cool thing was back then you could actually go in and you can basically put a deposit down on a house and say, okay, this house is going to be done in, 7 or 8 months. By the time the house was finished, you could sell it without ever living in it, and you would make a huge margin on it. And so we did that over and over and over again. And, at one point we figured out that what we could do is we could actually go into 3, 4, 5 developments. We can go into all of them. We could put deposits down on all those properties. We never really had to take out you had to get approved for a loan, but you didn't actually have to, close the loan. And so we went in and we did it. And I think the most we did at one time was like 6 communities all at the same time, bought brand new homes, sold all of them before they were even finished, put a for sale sign as they're still trying to put sod on the ground, and then flipped all of those, all those properties. And so that was how we first got into it. Then we bought into flicks and flips and then, all that, but then the market crashed in 08 and 09. So then we lost it all.
So you're diving into things that you're like at the right point, at the right time, getting in, getting out, doing what you got to do.
Yeah. Except we didn't get out at the right time because 08 came, we were heavy into some fix and flips. We had a whole bunch of properties at the exact same time, all under construction. So I was super high leveraged. I was going for the flip, right? I wasn't in the business at the time of having a bunch of rental properties and cash flowing. So I invested completely wrong. So when I look back, I go, okay, that method of investing at that time was completely wrong. I was going for the appreciation, just the capital gain, instead of going for the cash flow. If I had known and I had gone deep enough and understood that I should have been investing for cash flow back then, everything from that moment forward probably wouldn't be the same as it is today.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it would have been I probably would have a different portfolio than we do now. So,
Learning experience. Check one. Put it that
yeah.
way.
Oh, it was
Learning
a huge
experience.
learning experience. On paper we had a boatload of equity, a boatload of cash, and then 08 and 09 happened, and all of a sudden it was gone. And so, yeah, not good.
But you keep saying we. So you go into partnerships. How does it work?
Sometimes. Yeah,
Okay. So
sometimes there'd be partnerships in the majority of those properties. I did do it with partners back then. Today I don't in the real estate side of things, unless, it's some sort of a big project. But right now, it's my wife and I, we have, our property. Well, I take that back. My brother and I own a couple pieces of real estate too, but nobody else. I'm not getting into too many other deals like that.
well, can you talk about that a little bit about partnerships and going in, finding the right partner? How do you know who's the right partner and when to go into a partnership and what to do? What's your opinion on that?
So I've had the failure of doing business with a partner, having a partner that I believed would have been a great relationship, and it turned out to completely shoot me in the face later. So I said that I would never take on another partner as long as I lived. That didn't happen because the reality is that I'm not the best at everything, and under no circumstance can I do everything to the highest level. I can't succeed. And there's actually a really good book called Who Not How. And one of the things that I've really come to understand over the past, call it, 10 years, 8 years, has been that no matter what you want to get accomplished, who is where you should put your attention and your focus. It's not how am I going to go accomplish this? How are we going to execute this? How are we going to get to this level? It's who is going to be the person that's going to help us get there. That who could be a partner, that who could be an employee. It could be some sort of a strategic alliance with another company. It could be channel partners. It can literally just be one network connection that makes an introduction. There's under no circumstances there ever a how that isn't actually predicated on who. And so what I figured out is that every single time that I want to accomplish something, who is the first place I need to look? Who's going to help me? Who's the person that needs to be a part of this? And it could be somebody that I already have on my staff. It could be, I need to go to my finance manager because he's going to be the best person to ask about this.
Right.
It could be my operations director who's going to know exactly how we need to go execute on something. Or it could be like in a situation I wanted to start buying real estate in this small, really tiny town that we live in here in Montana. I needed to know I needed to talk to in this town to get a leg in and actually start to build. And so there's a network in here. This is a very, very old farm community. All these old ranchers, they want to keep everything with them. And so getting in and understanding who to chat with and all those things. And then understanding skill sets. Again, I'm not the best at every single thing. So who can do the parts that I can't? And then that is where I find the strategic alliance.
That's perfect. So the book one more time, Who
Not How.
Who Not How. Make sure I'm going to put that in the description because that sounds fantastic. And as you talk about it, makes sense. Who's going to help you get over the hump? Who's going to introduce you to that great person? Who's got the connections that you can go through? It's not about how, it's who that always gets into that business. That's fantastic. All right, let's have some fun, my friend.
All right.
It's now time for a rapid fire. That's right. 2 minutes goes on the clock. Here's a great thing about it, my friend. You get to choose your own questions. That's right. You got to give me A, B, C, or D. And those are the questions I'm going to ask you. But you got 2 minutes on the clock. You can elaborate, but remember, you got to get through all the questions within 2 minutes. So what do you want? A, B, C, or D?
Start with B. Let's go in the middle.
All right. 2 minutes will be on the board when I ask the first question. What makes you smile?
Oh, my kids. Easy. My kids.
That was an easy one, right?
Yeah. All right. Go with A.
All right. What have you learned recently?
Who Not How has really come in big. Yeah. That's been a big one.
All right. What's the last thing you remember that made you happy?
Oh, last night, my daughter, they won their basketball game, and just seeing those kids, I get to coach her team. And just watching those kids like lose their minds, winning the game in the last second, it was fun. My daughter hit a really good jump shot, and she's 10 years old, so this is like early basketball years, but she hit a really good jump shot, and the crowd went nuts. She went nuts. It was awesome.
Social media or hanging out?
Hanging out, never social media.
What technology you like and what technology you hate?
So I'm beginning to hate phones more and more. Technology I like, though. Right now I'm liking aspects of AI.
What's the one thing that makes you nervous?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Not much makes me nervous. Not much at all, to be honest.
What's the one thing you can go back in your life and change?
Can't change anything. I'm where I am because I can't go change anything. So it's probably a good thing.
What's the last thing you searched on Google?
Oh my gosh, what was it? Had to be probably something to do with advert. You there?
Yep, we're still here. What's the funniest thing you've ever read and done in school?
Hello.
Are you a morning person or evening person?
Evening person, but I'm training myself to be a morning person. So I get up early every day now.
So last question, 30 seconds left. What is your morning routine?
Oh, get up, go through my quick journal for my day. And then I literally just start on one core project for the first 3 hours. And then I get my kids up for school and we roll. That's it. It's pretty straightforward. Nothing too detailed.
There you go. You made it through rapid fire.
Nice. All right.
So let me ask you this then. What is success to you?
Time freedom.
Time
Straight up.
freedom.
Like, it doesn't, everybody built a business. They're trying to accomplish something in life. And everybody's trying to get back the same thing. Everybody wants time. Everybody wants time to do the things that they like, the things that they love, be with the people that they want to be with. Some of that does require financial resources. There's no doubt about that. And so I think making money and getting really good at making money gives you the opportunity for time. A lot of people squander that, but I think that having financial resources, putting yourself in a position where either you're building a business, you're growing a business, and you have financial resources, you can buy time. And that's where, my focus is that time with my kids, time doing the things that I enjoy doing. That is the most important thing to me.
So I did some research on you, watched a couple of your videos.
Okay.
And you said one book, you learned, you did it step by step by step by step.
Yeah.
Yeah. Talk about that.
So, yeah, this was after the real estate crash, after I lost everything that way. And I was kind of restarting, and I read the 4 Hour Work Week and I said, this is pretty legit. Let's check this out. And so I decided that I was going to move down to the beach in San Diego. I was going to sit down, and literally I went page by page and built a business out of the book. Every single detail in the book, I tested everything exactly as it was. And I built a pretty decent e-commerce business that created the nomad lifestyle. I got to travel around, do all that stuff. The one piece of advice I didn't listen to was that you shouldn't do anything with ingestibles as a product, something that's an ingestible. And sure enough, a few years in, the FDA closed down the product that we were selling because it wasn't, it was a homeopathic product. So, the whole thing with that. But so that one piece of advice ended up beating me up later. But it gave me all of the lessons, and it introduced me to using virtual assistants. And that has become my life since. And so now all of the companies that I own and operate are fully run by virtual assistants. So I don't actually operate the companies.
All right. Well, that's the part we want to talk about. Let's get into that to nitty gritty right now, because that's what I was looking out for. But we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to dive in. Why you don't do anything? You got people doing it for you. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Hey, it's okay if you're driving or too busy to take notes. Charles has your parachute packed with all the info you need to jump into success. Check out the links section for all the tools you need to land safe. Now, let's keep falling with Charles and his special guest.
Yes, let's fall. Let's dive right into it. All right, talk about it. Let's talk about it. You don't do
What do
anything,
you
my
want?
friend. You got people doing it left, right, and center for you. Like, talk about that.
Well, I mean, I think that's everybody's goal, right? Is you build a business and it operates without you. I mean, that's how real businesses are supposed to be created. And I think most people would get into business with the idea that they want freedom, but they don't actually execute on the fact that they're going to obtain freedom. So they generate a new job. They generate something. They trade the 9 to 5
Right.
for a 6 to 10, right? And they just expand their workload. No, I mean, there's freedom in doing the things that you want to do when you want to do it and how you want to do it. Like that's all real. But for the most part, entrepreneurs do not generate freedom. They don't create both financial freedom. And then the average small business, I think, generates like $300,000 a year. Like it's not a lot. So when you look at what you can do, if you have financial resources, you can buy time. And financial resources allow me to employ a lot of people so that they can operate the companies. And my mission again is time over everything. And if I can find a way to operate my businesses using other people to run them, that is success. That's really a successful company.
And then tell them about a VA. Explain to everybody, if people don't know what it is, what a VA is, please explain it.
Virtual assistants. And so virtual, meaning that they're not next to you. So if you think about in your business, any single thing that can be done without somebody physically present, a virtual assistant can do it. The way that virtual assistants came to be for me was the idea of cost leverage. Starting a business from scratch, you don't have a lot of money. You don't have a lot of resources to be able to go employ somebody who's skilled in anything specific. But if you were to leverage somebody overseas, you can get the equivalent of somebody with a master's degree. Like I always like to tell the story. My lead developer on my team has a master's degree, and he's a professor at a university. I'm a college dropout. This guy has way more education than me. However, due to cost leverage, there's the opportunity to hire him for far less than it would require to hire somebody locally to do the exact same role. And in a lot of times, I would actually say he's probably better. And so that is really the value of virtual assistants. They can do all of the things that don't require physical presence at a fraction of the cost. That's the biggest point of leverage.
So again, watching you, learning something about you, and you said something and it made me laugh because I thought the same thing. Oh no, getting a virtual assistant, you can't trust them. You don't know what they're doing. You can't do anything. And I watched the same one of your videos, and you said, well, the same guy that's 10 feet from you is the same guy that's 20 feet from you. They can both screw you over, or they can both be great. So either way.
So I'll challenge this. Go look at any of the biggest scams in a company, right? You look at somebody who embezzled money. You look at somebody who did something, to hurt a business in kind of that idea, right? Whether it's payroll, whether it's, whatever. It could be anything where a company really gets screwed over financially. If you look, almost zero of them are from outsourced help. Almost
they
zero.
All work. They're the inside guy.
Right there in the office. They're right there next to the CEO. They're right there next to the
inside guy.
It's all the inside guys. And so here's the thing. You can trust anybody as far as you can trust anybody. We don't just hand the keys to everybody and go, hey, here's access to our bank accounts when we don't know you. It takes a long time to get somebody to that point. But the reality is that it can be done. We do it every single day. We have companies and, we just ran payroll yesterday as an example. I didn't touch it. A virtual assistant touched it. They ran and they decided to, they wired money out of my checking account to hundreds and hundreds of people in the Philippines. I didn't do it. That's pretty impressive when you think about it, that I didn't have anything to do with running that payroll. They did. They accessed my account. They talked to the bank. They did all those things.
Yeah.
So it's absolutely doable. Most people have a heavy mental block on it, and you just have to get past that.
So let's roll it out, because I was like, this is the guy I'm looking for, because I need extra hands here. I only have 2 hands. God gave you 2 hands. I need that's 6 more. So that's what I've done. I've gone on different sites and I got some people over here to do something, and it works out. But I think you got the major key. Tell everybody different businesses, like you got the banquet hall one. Talk about different ones that you're running.
Yeah. So I partnered in, I mean, okay. So to kind of start, I had a marketing agency with my business partner that, went under because we had business partner issues. I'll never throw the dude under the bus. It just is. It didn't work out. That business really, really bled cash. And then we closed down that marketing agency and I turned around and relaunched it specifically with one client in mind in the wedding industry. And so we relaunched that business as just marketing for wedding venues. And then I became a partner in his venue. And then he and I invested into some other venues and we did turnarounds and, stuff like that. And so that's how I got into having equity and owning wedding venues. And so we have that portfolio. We also I still have the marketing agency wedding booking system for the wedding industry. And so that is still fully functional. It's operational. It's a high profit business. It's a fantastic company. Then I realized that when I relaunched that company, I went from having one client. So we were making about like $3,000 a month. And then in 4 months, we went from essentially 0 to $100,000 a month, $109,000 a month. We did that in 4 months. And then we doubled it 4 months later. And then I realized like I could do the same thing with anything. And so I said, hey, we've got this virtual assistant company. We're not really doing a lot with it. We've got some clients and stuff, but what if we just take the same strategy and we just do the same thing? And so we did. And then that company exploded. So then, then it became, well, let's launch a SaaS product. And we did that. We focused on the wedding industry because that was where it made the most sense. So we did that. Then recently we've launched a trucking dispatching company. I don't know anything about that, but my partner in that, he does. And so we launched a business where we do dispatching for freight companies. And we have virtual assistants who are the dispatchers. And then all we do is we just get a bunch of trucks and they do the dispatching and it's a great relationship. And so we did that. Then, I've been buying data for a really long time and we use data for marketing. We use data for all kinds of things. And then I realized there's an opportunity to resell data. And so we figured out a solution for marketing companies and for small businesses to leverage anonymous website visitors and actually match them to a digital profile. And so essentially somebody shows up to your website, they don't do anything. They don't give you any information. They don't opt in for anything. We can actually match that user to a profile, send you that contact information, and then you can market to those people. You can run ads to those people. So it creates this really high ROI from all of the traffic that's being lost on your website. So we launched that business, and then that one grew really, really, really fast. I think in a matter of 2 months or something, we got we're almost $200,000 a month in revenue. So it was a really, really fast growing business. So that's kind of what we've been doing. And all of these are run by virtual assistants.
And I was just about to put the stamp on it. I was just about to put the stamp on it. You have to tell everybody, yes, it's all done by VAs. But the thing is, everybody's going to ask, we're kind of nervous. How do you know you get the right one? How do you find them out? Do you vet them? What do you got to do?
Yeah,
how do you got to do it?
Yeah, I mean, here, look, the easiest thing to do is to work with our company, Level 9 Virtual, because we vet them for you. That's the easiest thing. If you're going to go out and you're going to do it yourself, you have to do that vetting. It's just like anybody else. Are you going to contact the references? Are you going to check and see if they have all of the skills that they say they have? One of the biggest challenges that people run into using any sort of outsourced staff is the fact that nobody tests who they're hiring. So if somebody comes to me and they say, hey, I am a fantastic graphic designer, and they show us a portfolio of stuff. Okay, this all looks good. Here's the thing. I'm going to put you in the trenches. I'll pay you, but I'm going to put you in the trenches and I want to see you perform to the level I need you to perform. Nobody does it that way. We literally stress test them.
Okay.
I pay you for it, but I'm going to stress test you. And we put them in the trenches. We make them do all the things we know they're going to need to do in order to operate for us. If they perform, they're our guy.
Brilliant.
Or gal.
Okay.
If they're not, they're gone.
Next.
Yep, that's it. And nobody wants to do that because it costs money and it costs time. And again, we have a system in place where that's what we do. And so that's why it's easier to hire through us. Makes it way easier.
All right. So give my audience one piece of advice. Starting a business in 2024, why?
Freedom. Time freedom. Like right now we're in one of the weirdest economic times that I think 2 generations have really seen. I don't think that we're going to see anything improve for a decent amount of time. And I think it's going to get worse before it's going to get better. I think that, this is a very fabricated situation that we're all experiencing economically. And so what we need to be able to do is we need to be able to control our own financial future. And the easiest way to do that, hands down, is by owning companies. It's by building a business where you can predictably create income. You can lose your job in a second.
Yes.
The only way you lose your business is if you shut it down.
Absolutely.
That's it.
All right, let's go.
Now time for pick 3.
I'm having too much fun with you, my friend, but it's time to almost let you go. So now time for pick 3. Before I let you go, you get to choose your last 3 questions. So I need 3 numbers between 1 and 10.
1, 3, and 10.
1. Oh, I don't think anybody's ever picked 10 before. All right. Question number 1. What is the most embarrassing moment in your life so far and why?
Oh my gosh, the most embarrassing moment. Man, I don't get embarrassed very often, but the only thing I can really think is my senior year of basketball. I'm dribbling down on a breakaway, and those lines in the gym floor? One of them jumped up and grabbed my ankle, and I ate shit and landed on my face for no reason whatsoever. And yeah, I mean, it literally was the most ridiculous, thing.
Hold on. I just pictured it. You're on a breakaway, aren't you? Nobody's in front of you.
There's nobody. Literally, it is a free basket. And for some reason, I literally tripped over my own feet, landed hardcore landed on my face. It wasn't even like a little fall. Like it was pretty, it was louder than the crowd, put it that way. So maybe that was it.
Skateboard face plant. Love it. Love it. All right. Next question. Here we go. Number 3. If you could follow someone 48 hours, who would it be? Past and present, and why?
Ooh, right now, I think I would want to follow. Actually, you know what? Right now, I'd check out. Oh man, this is a tough one. Alex Hermosi right now. I like what he's putting out. I'd like to see what his operational day looks like. I am intrigued by the structure of how he holds meetings. I'd like, the way that he kind of shares how he focuses in meetings. I'd like to actually see it. I'd like to see how he deals with the other CEOs of other companies. And then, I'd really like to just kind of see how that actually works, because he's grown so fast, so big, so fast. I'd like to see kind of what that actually looks like on a 48-hour basis. That'd be pretty sweet.
There you go. All right. Number 10 is an easy one. Where can we find you?
Oh, that's an easy one. level9virtual.com. So level9virtual.com. You can click book a call, or email me, joe@level9virtual.com.
There you go, my friend. It's an easy one. But I love it. You know something? I'm going to sneak one in there.
All right.
What is your hidden talent?
Oh man, I don't know if I have any hidden talents. Everything's kind of out in the open. I'm not. Yeah, if I got it, I'm using it. So people have probably seen it. Yeah, yeah. I think I put it all out there, and everybody's seen everything I got. Yeah, that I don't think I have anything left to deliver. Nothing
all
hidden.
right, then here we go. Then let's do it this one. Then we really know what type of person you are. You ready for this one?
All right, go.
Batman or Superman?
Superman.
See, there you go.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah,
listen, it's
easy.
been an honor and a pleasure to have you on my show, my friend. Listen, what are you waiting for? I brought you the information. You're like, oh, Chuck, I don't have time. I don't have time to do this. I don't have time to do this. I got only 8 hours a day. Slow down. This is the man for you. He's telling you how it works. He's telling you how he does it. There's extra hands around the world. There's no excuse for you to not jump into business. So what are you waiting for? Listen, tell a friend, let them know, listen to the episode. Like I always tell you, you didn't have to watch, you didn't have to listen, but I'm so glad you did. We'll see you next time, everybody. Thanks.
Come to an end, but the fun doesn't have to stop here. If you have any questions, suggestions, or feedback, head over right now to Twitter and Facebook and like, share, and get involved. Join us next time.
Please be advised that the